Hey guys, and thank you so much for watching today. At this point we have all of the lemurs, we have the Somali wild ass, we have the West African lion, so now it's time we look at the gorillas and chimpanzees. But I wanted to make like a big ape monkey house, so I just gonna see here and kind of make a plan for the future. The bonobos here, they are endangered. They're not critical endangered, but they are endangered, and the mandrill is vulnerable. So we actually do have 4 monkey/ape types that need our help, and I think it would make sense over time to have them in the same place. So we are going to make a massive build today. But that is a part of my inspiration. But then again, here from our main building, I use this shape as inspiration for the build, because I always build with grid pieces and just place them out as a square or a L or H shape. So today we're gonna build with no grid pieces. We will have some grid pieces in the middle of the build, but the shape of it will be completely without grid pieces. And we're gonna place the build back here, across from the restaurants that we built last. And there's a few reasons for this. For one, it's gonna be a really high build, and we don't want it to be just in front of the main building, so when you get out of the main building you can't see anything else. But we also just I want more guest flow back here. So I really hope you're sitting comfortably with something nice to drink, maybe a snack, because we're gonna be here for a while. This build took me 6 hours at this point, but honestly it's not done. But after 6 hours I made the choice to split up this video in 2 parts, maybe 3 parts. So today we're gonna make the building itself, and next time we're gonna make the interior, some planting, and then I don't know if we're gonna add the first animals in next time, or if I'm going to make a 3-part series. I won't be adding all ape monkeys here at once, because as you can see some of them are pretty low on our list. So they can wait, but I really like that we have a place here to get started. But I really just started with what I always start with, doing this pathing system to get the shape out. I'm gonna shape the building around the path. And then here I just started, and again I said I wouldn't use grid pieces, but this is in the center of the building where we're gonna have we're gonna have a restaurant, we're gonna have some shops and something like that. So therefore we will use some grid pieces, but the entire shape of the building are made without grid pieces. The piece I use now I cheated and made before just to have an idea of how it would look. But I just want to tell you which pieces I used. At the bottom we used a dry stone wall panel, which is 4 by 2 meters, and that's because that's not a grid piece. If I was using the 4 by 4 it would be grid, but by instead using 2 of the 2.4 I get the same size, but not on a grid. Then above that we have the middle clad wall panel in 1 by 2 meters. So we also add 2 of that, so instead of 1 by 2 it's gonna be 1 by 4. And the reason that I wanted it 4 meters, it was because when we use the glass piece that we use 3 or 4 of, I can't remember. They are in 4x4, and I wanted this entire section to have the same size. And then we use the European Mark Q beam, which I used a lot before, you know. For instance, in our lion cabin. But here we're also gonna use it, and this one is the 4 meters. Later we will also use the 2 meters. And it's the floor here I'm making is only concrete, and it's on purpose that I wanted it lower than the pathing, and it's because the animals will be going around down there. So here I do actually use the mud pillar to make the section on the grid, because I think in the end of the building I want a flat surface. And here you also notice when I put down the pathing, I made the pathing on grid, which is 10 by 10, which I'm going to regret later on. Then I just here making room for a door. I'm not gonna make a door per se. I'm going to make a door opening. And I just lower the metal piece a bit to make room for it here. And then I'm just copying it to the other end, because I think this would be a building where you could go through it. And it will look real nice for both ends. And then we just make this fit. And then I use the limestone piece here. Limestone? Yeah, the limestone wall panel here to just make it more like a finished opening in the bottom instead of just having the metal piece there. And here I try to reconnect ends to make sure they don't go through the wall. And here I try to add the pathing down here, where we will have some staff area in the middle of the animals. I did think about making a basement for them, but we would have a lot of space here in the middle. So I'd rather have this space area here. So I actually just, here you can see I hidden the terrain beneath. In a realistic build, you wouldn't just want a hole down there. You would like to have some kind of stable ground. But I'm gonna put in a staff room, and I wanna put in a keeper's hut and a veterinarian. What is it called? A surgery. You know which one I mean. Also because monkeys and apes can't get a lot of bacteria and virus from humans. I'm pretty sure it's not something everybody thinks about, but everyone knows that we're pretty close related to them. So therefore also a lot of our sicknesses can be translated to them. And also in real life they just get sick really fast, also because they're kind of an unclean animal. I think it's the best way to put it. Yeah, I just want to connect the staff area with the main pathing system, which was actually harder than I thought it would be. But I ended up with this solution here. And then I think I will cover it later with some kind of stone pieces, but that won't be in this episode. It will probably be in the next one. here I wanted to make something kind of custom made, but not too much. So we make this one, which is made from the limestone pieces. And then we use these wooden planks to make like a background. And we use this, it's not a screen. Well, it is a screen, but it is the educational screen. So you will be able to see here info about the animals. And then I kind of want to cover the edge with the European Marquee beam from the Aero pack. I'd like to reuse the same pieces all over this kind of build. So you have like the same feeling of the building, but still, as you can see here, the wooden planks are new, but the limestones we did before and the beams here we used before, so it will be like a mishmash of reusing the same things in different ways. Yeah, and then I just want to copy it over, and it fits. We have 4 shops, so we're gonna have 4 education boards like this. And then I just added the glass piece here, glass pane, rectangular. It's the same one I use for the walls, and it just makes sense to me to use glass here, because it is easier for our caretakers to it will be easier for our caretakers to keep it clean with the glass walls, and we won't have any people wouldn't be able to sabotage the screens in a way when they can't get to them. Then I just go back in here, you can see a lot of stuff sticking out on the end here, so I just gonna fix that and pop that back in. The shops I'm having here in the middle are information shop center, what it's called, and then the 3 gift shops, because I kind of think like this building would be a place where you would maybe want to do buy stuff like that, and also having more gift shops throughout the zoo would help you not having too many giant lines at the big gift shop at the end. But these would be smaller gift shops. Of course, the game only have one size of gift shop, but in the gift shop at the entrance you have these walls and walls with stuff you could buy, where here it would be like the most used best-selling items we would have here. Yeah, now I just start trying to get the pathing working here, and it honestly just won't, and it's my own fault. It's because I made this on a 10-meter grid, and 10 meters don't add up with 4 meters. It just doesn't. So if you want to build something like that, I would recommend you either use 1, 2, 4, or 8 meter. I would like to be able to have like a 12-meter grid. But I used too much time on this, and actually I think I'm just gonna skip forward in this video so you can see what end up happens, because this took me a long time. I'm so sorry. Yeah, and here you can see I go back down to the main path and then take a 4 meters path up to this point, and then I have the 4 meter padding grid to use on top. And then I just chose to, yeah, here you can see I do the same here. I changed the grid to a 8 meter, which give me an issue here on the other side, because 3 8 meters path is 2 meters bigger. Sorry, 4 meters bigger than 2 10 meters. So here I have to make some changes in these designs as well. But I definitely think it's worth it. And when we come to the highest floor, I'm so happy I changed this because it made it so much easier. And you can also see here, when I used the 8 meter grip up here, really I went back and forth so many times, and I cut a big chunk of it out. But here I just go in here and move the shops a few meters, because when I changed to this 8 meter grid instead of 10 meters, then I pushed it all a few meters. But yeah, it looks good. It's absolutely not the worst I ever done, but I also think because this entire build took me so long, and I knew it was going to take a long time, I just couldn't focus on how to make these paths the right way, because I wanted a lot in this build, and I also had a few ideas that I just had to scratch at a point, which I'm so sad about, but it was the right choice, because I actually wanted a floor more. I had this idea where I wanted kind of hotel rooms on the highest floor, because this would be like a place where businessmen also could bring their workers, like what they call a working getaway. Here we're gonna go somewhere, and then we have these conference rooms on top of this. And kind of you could go here and team build with your workforce or something like that, which I would think just would be amazing. But here, when we finally have the pathing down, we're gonna go in with these wooden plank and just finish this this shop piece up. But instead of having the highest floor with this hotel room-ish, then I'm gonna make a build roughly near to this, where we would have a place, but with the room for themselves. Also because I kind of think if you around here with your workforce, then you maybe have a bus or something that you want to be able to park next to these rooms and something like that. And since we don't have elevators here, even though I know on the workshop there are elevators we could have used, I don't think it makes sense in this build to have an elevator. So therefore I was just, we're gonna make maybe some bungalows or something like that. Maybe something with a pool, I think, on a later stage. So that's not gonna be in this build, even though that was mainly the reason I wanted to do this build in the beginning. But honestly, this build just have so much that I just really are proud of. It is the biggest build I ever done. No, I made a building bigger than this once as a reptile house with every single reptile that is in the game and that I have as a mod. So that was really big, but it was made on grid, so I could just pull the building. It was completely square, so even every time I added an animal, I could just pull the inner wall down. Where here we really, when we have the complete wall up, we can't. It would take something to go back and edit it all. Yeah, you can see I end up with a problem with the walls here. So I end up with this weird shape, which I don't like, but I think we're gonna end up with just adding some plants down there. But now it's finally time to, yeah, here. You can see I decided to make it a bit higher, because I want a big open space off top of the highest floor. So now it's time to actually make the wall, and it takes a lot of time. And honestly, this isn't the hard part. The hard part of this particular thing was to figure out how to build these sections, but once you have the section, it just makes sense for you to do it. And as you can see, I have a extra section that isn't a part of the build, and that was pretty much because I wanted to know before I started the build that I had something that made sense. Here I just take a step back. Sometimes when you have one section where if you haven't got the angle quite wide, right, then you can see it when you add the next section, but then it sometimes helps to go back and take the two sections and move as one. Because I really wanted this roundish shape, and it would be rounder with less edges if I had done it all in 2 meters, but I think it would be a lot more clumsy to look at. I really like these big glass panels in the middle, and if they only been 2 meters and then add the limestone piece, then it would only have been 1 meter. The limestone piece I used here is the smallest one. I think what is it? 1 by 2, I think it's called, the size of it. But as here you can see, actually for me it's harder, the piece where I have to bend it out against me, than the pieces where I can bend it away from me. I don't know if that's just a me thing. But it's kind of the same technique as I used when I made the centerpiece for the entrance building, that we used that as inspiration. But of course by there it was much smaller, smaller scale. And here you can see there's some places where I have to go back and move the concrete a bit, because we don't like it poking out. The reason why I use these really dark stone pieces beneath all of this light material was because I really like there to be a different. I want the animals in here to be able to go outside, and then the outside will be lowered. to the lower down in the terrain. That's also why we did this build lowered. But I wanted them to be that when they go inside, they're higher up, and then when they go outside, they're lower, so people can really see them when they're up in the trees. And it's kind of just makes sense for me that if you're down in the ground, then it would be darker. And I think it's a nice contrast, especially with the limestone pieces. Here I just go back and re-edit. Of course, if I didn't want if I didn't want the door sections of both sides to be completely square, completely in front of each other, then this would have been easier. But because I really like that you can go straight through the building. I know you have to go up, but it's still a straight line you can go through the building. I just think that gives something aesthetically, and that means that I have to go back and trying to make this all fit. So I just go back and do like this until I found until I find a space where it's kind of a straight piece. Like I have, instead of a 4 meter straight line, I have an 8 meter strong line. And I think that's here or the next time. Yeah. Yes, it's not here, it's the next one. So I just move this one, and then I take these 2 meters only and move around, and then the limestone there and the middle piece there, then no one can see it. And no one would go around with what's it called, you use a measuring tape, I think it's called. No one would go around with that and say, hey, it's not the same size all around. It's so important when you start a build like this that you actually start out with the amount of money you're gonna use. So just to be sure, I started out with 500,000 euros, and at this point again I haven't done any forests. We have no animals, we have no chairs, we have nothing in this building. It's only the building at this point, and we already down to 300,000. I don't think we're gonna use them all on this building, but it would be stupid to start building this and end up going bankrupt on it. Of course, here we have these amazing sponges that also would like to this building, that they could use this building for the staff in their own firms. And I kind of like to imagine that the money we use on this build, we did collect specifically for this build. So it's not like we got a lot of money because people want us to get animals and then use the money here. We did ask for funds to make this specific building, and because our benefactors liked the plan, then we were able to build it. But if you have a zoo where you don't have benefactors and you really want to not cheat or anything with your money, then make sure you have enough before you build this building, because it would take time. And when it's done, it will also take time before your guests even get to this point of the zoo. A lot of the guests you already have is probably already on their way home, and then they don't want to turn around and go down here just for this one building. Yeah, you can see again, I tried to make it fit back and forth here to get the spacing right. Here I have a really straight piece already, so I don't have to go as much backwards to make it fit as I did the other place. But here we're gonna move all of this rooftop around or floor around since we changed the pathing up here also. And then I think we're gonna start up here. Yeah. So this floor is the main piece of this building. At this point, of course, the animals would be an important part of this build as well. But up here, that would be 4 educational rooms, and that could both be, again, our benefactors bringing along their workforce for some kind of what's it called? When you really want your staff to get along better, you put them on these things. I don't remember. But anyway, we gotta make 4 classrooms. I'm gonna call them up here. And we're gonna start with this limestone piece and another limestone piece. And then I just want this to be neat like that. Glass piece, the same glass piece we used all around. And my European McQ beams. And my metal beams here. Honestly, I never use these in any other zoo, but since I started using them here, I just fell in love with them. I also feel like after I started my YouTube channel, I try more different pieces, and I've also been going back and watching a lot of pieces I didn't use before because they just didn't look like something I wanted. And see, okay, can I use them as something else? So this is really amazing for my creativity. But here I just remove this piece around, copying it, to get the room I really want. There. Yeah, it's kind of hard when you have all of these glass pieces, no, sorry, metal pieces on a line to see if you got all of them. So I ended up just copying this piece outside the build so it's easier for me to copy. That's a trick I learned for Rudy Rin Camel, I think he's called. I can link him below. He's an amazing builder and he got so many tips and tricks. So he will be linked below. But here you can see I just keep you doing the same thing, yeah. And then I go back, and this is what takes time. Because the edge of this piece are made as you want to continue it, but in the end of these pieces, they just ain't placed the right way. So we have to go back in every single corner of this build and just push this back in. Again, this isn't a hard build to do at all, it's just a matter of time. And if you have a full-time job and you just want to play for a half an hour when you get home, then this build would probably be a mouthful to begin with, but I did it all last night before I went to bed, and then of course I'm gonna finish them today, I think. I hope. Yeah, at this point I just realized that I should have a door. doorway to get in here. Yeah, I like that. Again, I keep reusing this thought of I like it to be clean, this build, but I also don't want... I want it to be modern. And that's a weird thing to say, because what's modern in one country may not be modern in another. But I want it to be clear that this is a new building. I don't want it to look like it was from the 17th or the 1800s or anything. I just want it to look like a pretty newer building. And it's kind of funny because I would never, for instance, if I would build a house I would live in, I would never build it like this because this is just not my style. But with this, I like it. I don't know what else to say. I just like it. Yeah, and again, because I want 4 completely similar rooms, I'm just going around and doing the exact same thing to 4 different rooms. I don't want them to be the same interior-wise, because you would need the rooms for different kind of stuff. But I want them to be looking the same from the outside. And if you're wondering, I can say this build is mainly split up 5 times. A small part of it is split up more or less, but most of it are split up 5 times. It's just when I started seeing people doing these speed build, I thought they actually worked that fast, and I don't think anyone does, especially the amount of time it takes to find the right piece. Here you can see, because I already used this metal beam other places in the build, then I want it to be the same. But when I did the wall pieces that I started with outside, I think it took me 30 minutes or something like that to find the right pieces, which is stupid because it's, to be honest, it's a game. but it took me so long just to find the right pieces, and I feel like I did. Looking at it, you can see the picture I end on here when we're done. The bottom piece of the wall piece are so dark, but I know where we're going with it, so I like the darkness. But again, they are really dark if it was only the building as is. And then we make another doorway it's called. I need someone to just stand beside me when I do this, who's good at English and just helps me with it. So here I'm gonna make this hole in the floor to put in a restaurant. Also because I think it would be really nice if you have all of your co-workers here and... what's it called? Sorry, I just need to find the right words. It would be convenient that you can just leave the room, get something to eat, go back to the room and keep working. I think. And the pieces I use here is the best idea. Really, when I pictured this build in my head, I wouldn't use these at all. But I'm really happy I did. It just, yeah, river mule wall, and it's from the aquatic park, and they are placed really weird in the menu. It's placed as a shop storefront, I think, which don't make any sense to me, but maybe for the one who made the game, I don't know. So here I just want to make a, what's it called, a roof piece, which I had this idea about how to make it, but yeah, I really wanted the wall piece to be like this, but then I thought, how much sense does it make to have the limestone piece up there where no one would see it? So I just did this, and then limestone on the rest of the build here. And I just go around and see what's now, what we're doing now. Yeah, I use a lot of time of just zooming out, what do I do now? And then I kind of thought to add these in here as a, yeah, so you would be somehow kept in peace in there. I remember one of the schools I went to, I never been sitting in a big firm room like this, but when I was at school, when we had a classroom with a window out to the hallway, it could really take away a lot of the, it could really take away your concentration that people was walking around out there. So I really like them, and when we start with the interior and the next episode, I'm gonna kind of use these pieces. So yeah, but then we just go back and remove every single mud pillar. Again, I never use them as a part of the build, but I do use them to make my build. Just fix a few things around. Yeah, and then the floor down here. It's kind of hard to place a floor when you can't see where you place it already. And then I just looked for something too. And honestly, these pieces will be covered, so I could have done them in anything. But I just keep the theme of it. And my staffs could also a benefactor for a pretty place. Then we need our monkeys in here to have a clean water supply. And then move on here. Yeah, that's not a lot of space. And then I just noticed this one that I just couldn't live with, so I did that. Then I wanted a bit of light down here for my keepers. So I added the aquatic wall light 01 and 02 from the aquatic pack. And then we go in here with these wall pieces and a door for the habitat. And then I did the thing about making the habitat with the shape of the second floor, but then again I thought it would be nice for the apes/monkeys to be able to go in beneath it, just to have a little bit sense of privacy. Apes and monkeys aren't the most stressed animals on the planet, but still I think we could give them just a tiny bit of privacy. Especially because I'm not gonna make a one-way glass piece or anything like that in this building. It really wouldn't make sense for me to do that. So like that, and then we're just gonna add a door more here. So on both sizes we have 2 habitat doors, and on this size we just also have the staff door. And of course the staff room down here would be used by educator, because we want to educate about our monkey house here. But it also will be used by the vendors from the restaurant and the gift shops above, and of course the keepers here. So I thought about making 2 staff rooms, but instead I just thought we'd take the big one. At this point we are just start to make it all fit together. So we're gonna go here outside the building again. Because when I made the wall around the build here, these limestones are kind of fits with one of the glass pieces, but not both of them. So I just gonna go around the entire building and turn these a bit around, so it's kind of more cohesive with the build instead of just fitting with one side of it. But I'm gonna make a small cut here because this video is already really long, and I don't think you want to see me do this with the entire build. And then I take all of this out here, the middle piece, and then I just want to bring it up to the top part here. And beneath I wanted to keep this middle beam halfway, and then the bigger middle piece above it to make this shape of the building, and kind of this finished top of the building. I did feel like I wanted to round the shape off and make like a glass roof with the same shape of the rest of the building, but instead I thought we actually gonna keep with our rooftop patio style. So here I'm gonna just use these pieces, and you're only gonna see them for beneath. On top we're gonna make the rooftop patio garden. And I really thought, how many animals could we keep up here? Not like animals, but we could have bees up here. We could have some ants up here. We could have all kinds of different things up here. Only with the plants and stuff would be the only one that could get up there. Maybe not even stuff. Of course stuff, because at some point we would need to go up and remove some of the planting again. For instance, trees. We don't want them to be too big and heavy up there. But besides that, I don't want the people up here. I just wanted the rooftop garden to help with the biodiversity. But I didn't want it all around. I wanted to have this kind of no roof part here from the concrete from these rooms. Sorry, it's the 7th time I forget in this video what they call conference rooms. I kind of wanted no roof up here. I have this idea that you would have like a glass ceiling which were electric, so you would be able to have like a button to push, and then there would be a glass roof here when the rain comes. But wouldn't it just be amazing to sit here in a meeting and then just have the sky above you and can see some of these green parts of the rooftop? Maybe something would like grow a bit over and hang down here. I think it would really make it all feel alive in some way. Then I use this piece, which is the same as the roof we did, but this is a non-grid piece. So I make it fit beneath. I don't know why, but it's thinner than the roof piece. So we're just gonna go around here, all through the building, and just finish things up like this. And again, I'm gonna skip a bit because I don't think you want to see all of this. And then I wanted to go down here because this amount of build wouldn't be able to hold up itself. So we need some kind of beam here. And then I end up using, this beam. And it wasn't my first choice. The aquatic architecture beam in 4 meter from the aquatic pack. And the only reason I chose this over the other ones, because I wanted something that was the same size all around. This is a bit long in itself. But it's not climbable. And I like to have a wood piece here that is not climbable. We don't want the apes or monkeys to climb up here. Yeah. And then I just finished this up. I did think I did that before, but maybe I missed something. And here, these beams, as you saw when I put them in, they did have this auto click feature where they band together. But that gives you a line between the beams where it looks like something that just wouldn't hold up. So I kind of just here pull them into each other so it looks like it's one beam all the way up. And then I just use this because I used the mud pillars, so I have them all on a line. So therefore I can just go in here and push them in. Yeah, I just wanted to figure out how to do the edges. And then I just do this again on all 4 sizes. Remember to remove a mud pillar first so I can see what I'm doing. But just push them in there. And there. And there. And then we again remove the mud pillars. Our beloved mud pillars. And I forgot one there, but... And now we get into the mudding part of this build because... And NicholasLionRider, I don't know if you know, but he made this Planet Zoo Safari prop cat. I don't know if you heard about it before. I certainly haven't used it at all before. But he have this fence in this mod. Again, NicholasLionRider, he's a genius. And I love this fins. I'm not really into much of the fins from the base game. There's a few that I use for mainly other stuff, but I really like this as a fins. Why did it freeze there? The only thing I have about this fence you're gonna see in a minute. The round one is too round, this one is too flat. So if I could have a flat piece that was just half the size of the main piece here, I think the main piece is 5 meters, 6 meters, something like that. And it would be nice to have a half piece of that to put in that rounded space. Again, I don't have anything that round like 50 degrees. He have the 2 different kind of round, but nothing that fits here. So it would be nice to have just a small piece that you could go in and fix like edges with and something like that. But that's just a small wish. I still like this fence. You can see I still use it. And I do think it's the best and most universal fence I have in my game. I actually used it once when I was... I made a Viking zoo at a point where I made these old Viking themed buildings, and all of the animals would be something that would be in the Viking area, you know, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, some of England, Russia, Finland, at the time. So I did a lot of research on it actually, to make it fit, and I was really proud of it. And then my game completely crashed to a part where I had to reinstall the entire game. But it was a good zoo. I was so proud of it, with these fireplaces inside and something like and stuff like that. But yeah, this fencing part can be a tiny bit tedious. And I'm not worried about the part. You can see again between the concrete and the path there is a space, so these fins are automatically higher than it already is. And when we start doing the habitats, I will do something about that gap down there, because that looks... Well, a gorilla wouldn't be able to fit through there, but some animals would. And before you come after me with this wooden fence, and a gorilla would be able to go through it, not if it's fake wood. It could be some kind of custom made concrete or something like that. I don't think many wood fences in zoos. It's years since I've been in a zoo, mainly because of my anxiety. And there's normally a lot of humans in the zoo. If it was only the animals, I would be in a zoo every single day. But there's sadly too many humans, so I normally don't get to a zoo. But either way, this fence, as you can see, it's not the same, but it's kind of similar. It's from the same prop pack. The one just called O1 and the other one called O2. I can't remember which one's which. But you can see this one looks a tiny bit more rough in it than the first one. The first one is real neat. This is more uneven and pokey and stuff like that, which I like both of them. As you can see here, they just give two kind of different feels to it. The reason why I kind of wanted to use these here was because I don't want people to stop here and just block the staircase of the path. They can stop all they want in the small paths in the edge of the building, but in here I want people to go through, so I like these more rough pieces. Then I go up here and remove the glass pieces, only on the top here. Both because, again, we want as much air through a building like this. The apes and the monkeys in here, they would smell a certain amount, and there would be a lot of noise in there from them. So the airway up here would actually allow some of the noise and smell to get out and not be locked inside of the building. So here we are, guys. I really hope you like this. I'm gonna end it here, guys. I really hope you liked it. You know the drill at this point. Like, subscribe, and turn on the bell of notification so you know when the next episode drops. I'm this person. I really hope to see you again, either in the comments below or in the next video. Bye.